While he was at home, Levi received a phone call from Zoe, asking him to visit the construction site. Surprisingly, Levi only saw New's men working when he arrived. Zoe's workers were nowhere to be seen. Levi walked up to Zoe and asked, "What's going on? What's going on? This is all because of you. My workers knew about my banishment from the Lopez family after the media reported the news. They did not want to be dragged into this mess, so they are on strike temporarily. The same thing is happening at Imperial Meadows too. Even my secretary left her job. What should I do now?" Zoe stared into Levi's eyes. Levi could understand the workers' sentiment. The Garrison family is infamous for their cruelty. No one would want to offend them. It is a given that they would want to leave because even the Lopez family banished Zoe to save themselves. Levi scratched his head embarrassingly. "I am so sorry. I did not consider this outcome. Are you finally aware of the consequences of your recklessness? Why didn't you listen to me? Were you not satisfied with our current lifestyle? The Garrison family was not troubling you, and I am given the opportunity to handle this huge project. We had a great life, so why did you have to go to such great lengths to destroy it?" Zoe bombarded Levi with volleys of questions. Levi took a deep breath and answered with a smile. "You are right. We were living a peaceful life. But what should I do about Morris? Do you think I can be at ease, knowing how my best friend died and choose to do nothing? I, Levi Garrison, am a man of honor. I do not provoke others deliberately, but they crippled me and falsified crimes against me. They put me behind bars and robbed everything away from me. So how can you expect me to stand by and watch them get their way? You should be the person to know me best. I never take anyone's possession by force, but I will not allow others to step all over me and remain indifferent. Especially when this matter concerns my best friend's life and my previous glory. I must retrieve the things that were taken away from me at all costs." Zoe looked at Levi in disbelief. She gained revelation at that moment. I have always neglected Levi's feelings. He is shouldering plenty of burdens as well. Zoe hugged Levi and sobbed in his arms. "I will stay by your side through thick and thin, Levi." She glanced at the construction site and continued. "I may lose my life anyway in 2 more days. So why do I have to care so much about all these things?" Levi was touched by Zoe's unwavering love for him. "Do not worry, Zoe. I will handle this. Okay. I believe in you." Zoe said what she had to because she wanted to encourage Levi. But she did not have any faith in Levi because she could not picture his victory against the Garrison family. "Anyway, I've steeled my resolution to accompany him to the end, even if we will die together." The promised day was nearing in a blink of an eye. The next day would be the day Levi would confront the Garrison family as he vowed. Zoe prepared a lot of dishes that night and even brought out the best wine they had. Levi suddenly said after he gulped a few glasses of wine. "Tomorrow will be the day we prosper, Zoe. Should we give your family another chance to join us?" "You." Zoe's first instinct was to rebuke Levi. He is still talking big. But Zoe smiled warmly after she considered the possibility of them dying together the next day. "Really? Will we prosper? I should do my best to please him in our final moments." Levi thought that Zoe had believed him, so he said immediately, "Of course it is real. From tomorrow onwards, Levi Group will be returned to us. Isn't it a piece of great news?" He stared at Zoe and said in a serious tone, "Truth be told, I cannot stand every single one from the Lopez family. However, they are your family members after all, so I would like to give them another chance. As long as they agree to support us tomorrow, and accept the Garrison family's repentance and apologies, I will support them. After it is over, Levi Group will take them in and boost the status of the Lopez family in Northampton." Zoe felt really vexed listening to Levi's boasting. It was impossible. Firstly, the Garrison family would not apologize. Secondly, Levi was certainly unable to defeat the Garrison family, and would not be able to retake the Levi group. However, considering the last day, Zoe did not interrupt him. "All right, then please give the Lopez family another chance." Zoe smiled slightly. Levi successfully got through to Harry's phone. "Levi, what are you doing? Calling for help?" "Let me tell you, there is no way." Harry's frustration could be heard from the other end. Levi laughed. "For the sake of Zoe, I have called you Grandpa. I have decided to give you a chance. As long as you support me and stand by my side tomorrow, I guarantee that the Lopez family will replace the Garrison family." Scram. "Are you a lunatic? What is going on in your head?" Harry shouted into the phone. After that, Levi then made another call to Aaron. In the end, Aaron gave him a harsh scolding too. "By the way, I will come and pick Zoe up tomorrow. If you want to court death, then go ahead on your own." Beep. Aaron hung up the call angrily. This time round, Levi kept quiet. The Lopez family is missing out on such a brilliant opportunity. Zoe laughed. "It is definitely going to end up like this. Who would believe all these? Unless he was a fool." Zoe teased, "It's all right. Rejecting you will be their greatest regret in life. We gave them the chance, but they did not want it." Indeed. The Lopez family has missed the chance. Before they slept at night, Azure Dragon called. "God of War. The Commander-in-Chief of the First Army of Northampton just sent a message saying that everything is ready. The 100,000 soldiers are ready to go." "Good, listen to my command," answered Levi. Levi and Zoe woke up very early the next day. Then, they drove Zoe's car to Morris Grave. On the way there, Zoe saw tanks passing by and a line of soldiers marching forward. The sight of it was beyond her imagination. There was an approximate number of tens of thousands of people. A long line of tanks had formed with no end in sight. In addition to helicopters flying around in the sky, there were also bombers flying by at low altitude, making a loud humming sound. Zoe was astonished. She asked, "Is there going to be a military exercise?" Levi laughed and said, "I guess so. Isn't it such a large-scale exercise? I have never seen one with such a scale before." Zoe was shocked. "Why are there bombers and cannons here?" Very soon, the both of them had arrived in front of the grave. New's men had already prepared the grave, while Levi had also erected a tombstone. Zoe paid her respects to Morris. Until now, Zoe could not believe that Levi was able to defeat the Garrison family. Was Levi going to do this alone? She thought that Levi would find some people to help him out. Seeing that he was going to be on his own, Zoe was extremely disappointed. No, she was in despair. Zoe stopped worrying. After all, she was originally going to die with Levi. So what was there to worry so much about? Shortly after, a Havel sped by. Aaron and Caitlin alighted from the car. Levi had thought that Aaron would stand by his side to show him support. However, he did not expect Zoe's parents to come and drag Zoe into the car. Zoe screamed in shock, "Dad, Mom, what are you doing? Why are you pulling me away? You cannot stay here and court death with this useless piece of trash." Aaron shouted. "That's right, you need to come with us. We won't let you die with him." Caitlin held tightly on Zoe. Zoe finally realized why her parents came. They wanted to bring her away. She was starting to feel anxious as she was about to be dragged towards the car. Zoe struggled and shouted at Levi for help, "Levi, save me. Save me. Dare he? If he dares, then I will make sure both of us perish together." Aaron stared angrily at Levi. Levi looked at Zoe coldly, and did not take any other action. In the end, Zoe struggled to break free, but to no avail. Aaron held on to her as Caitlin drove away. She looked out of the windows at Levi, who was standing there alone, and cried bitterly. It seemed that they were going to go on their separate ways from that moment onwards. However, no matter how much Zoe cried, Aaron was not going to give in. After taking Zoe home, Aaron and Caitlin made sure that she was taken care of. It was the Lopez family's wish to bring Zoe home. There was no need for her to die with Levi. As the Lopez family had ended their relationship with Levi, they would not turn up today. After Zoe left, Azure Dragon, Kieran, Phoenix, Black Tortoise and White Tiger, the 5 Great Wars Regiment appeared in black suits. Azure Dragon had even brought Rowan and his wife over. "Has Ms. Lopez left already?" Azure Dragon asked. "It's good that she left. I do not wish to reveal my identity yet," Levi said. Kieran walked over to Levi and said, "God of War, the commander-in-chief of the First Army reported that they are ready and prepared to set off. They are stationed 3 kilometers away and can reach in 10 minutes. After hearing what was said, Levi nodded his head. Tell them to wait for my command." "Understood." Kieran nodded his head. At this moment, Nuve arrived. He did not bring many people with him. Those who came were big shots, like Trey. They had donned their suits. Several people stood by after receiving Levi's orders. Azure Dragon stood beside Levi and said, "God of War, we have just received news that the Garrison family is about to set off." At the Garrison family's manor, Joseph waited for everyone in the Garrison family to suit up and get ready to leave. Jacob was growing really impatient and could not wait any longer. His son, Ashton, was still lying in the hospital. The chances of him waking up were really slim. He swore that he must definitely tear Levi up into a dozen pieces. As for Rick, he had always looked gentle. There was a smile on the corner of his mouth, which made him look very mysterious. Brian glanced at Victoria and said, "My little brother was crippled 6 years ago, because of me. I also made you crippled this time round. Do you still remember this baseball stick?" "That's right, it's the one I used 6 years ago." "Ha ha ha." Brian revealed a cruel smile as he tossed the baseball stick into the car trunk. Ben and Winnie smiled coldly. "Son, if not for the fact that we took you in, you would have died. Do you actually want to kill us now? This is ridiculous." Holly also arrived together with 2 others. "Quickly. We cannot wait to see Levi embarrassing himself." Joseph leaned against the car door and waited with a walking stick in his hands. "Dad, all of us are prepared. Also, the mercenaries that third brother has hired are in their positions," Ben said. Joseph nodded his head. The Garrison family alone can get rid of Nuve several times, let alone Jack Smith and the others. This time around, I will get rid of Levi and at the same time, let everyone in Northampton know how powerful the Garrison family is. "Dad, Jack Smith is here." Rick ran over. There was indeed a black car parked in front of the Garrison family's manor entrance. The second car was a Lincoln limousine. The car door opened, and an old man walked out. He wore a black traditional Chinese jacket, with 2 legendary pearls in his hand. He looked like he was well into his twilight years, giving people the impression that he was dying. However, there was a light in his eyes that one could not simply ignore. Especially when he lifted his head, there was a powerful presence lingering that made people breathless. He was Northampton's leading mafia boss, Mr. Jack Smith. As the name implied, the King of Northampton was here. There were 13 people following behind Jack Smith. They were named Northampton's Invincible 13. 13 powerful experts. The Invincible 13 used to be like Nuve and were mafia bosses in their own districts, but they were vanquished and came under Jack Smith as his underlings. Not only that, Jack Jr. was also here. He was part of the Palm Killer organization. Seeing that Jack Smith had arrived, Joseph brought everyone from the Garrison family over to welcome him. With the Garrison family's current abilities, they did not dare to compete with him. Today, we invited Mr. Jack Smith here to help us show our prowess. There is no need to take action. Your presence alone would definitely scare Levi away. He will not dare to do anything to us. Joseph laughed. Jack Smith did not care. It was already a waste for him to come down today just to make an appearance on behalf of the Garrison family. He looked at Joseph and asked, "What about the project you were talking about?" Joseph immediately responded, "Tomorrow. We can proceed tomorrow." It turned out that the Garrison family had lured Jack Smith over with a lucrative project so that he was willing to make an appearance. Good. Jack Smith nodded his head. Another car arrived shortly. A middle-aged man alighted from the car. This is Smiling Buddha, who controls half of Northampton's entertainment clubs. He keeps a very low profile, but apart from me, no one else is his opponent in Northampton. Jack Smith introduced the middle-aged, chubby man to the Garrison family. The chubby man laughed. He looked friendly and kind, but he was actually very cruel. As for this person, he is Bob, who is engaged in the jade jewelry business. He is well known in Northampton, and Nuve has suffered a big loss before thanks to him. And Jimmy Jacuzzi. Good old Jimmy is outstanding. He owns 6 casinos in Hong Kong, Macau, and other places. He is involved in all kinds of businesses. Jack Smith introduced everyone. The Garrison family were in awe of their presence. All of these impressive figures from Northampton's underground world showed up this time. Levi's supporter was only Nuve. There was more than a dozen of them here who could compete with Nuve and were even better than him. All of these people, combined with the Garrison family's power, would mean that Levi was in hot soup. Levi was unable to beat them, given their mighty forces. Jack Smith looked at his watch and said, "It's time. Let's set off. Let's go." Immediately, a long line of cars set off toward Morris Grave. Many people were surprised to see a long line of vehicles. What is happening in Northampton? The Lopez family was shocked to find out what was happening. Jack Smith, Smiling Buddha, Bob and the others have all gone there. It is frightening. Samuel shook in fear. Harry drew in a breath. Oh my God. Levi is going to be in deep trouble this time. This is really scary. I heard that there are thousands of people involved. It is fortunate that we have broken all ties with him in time. If not, the Lopez family would be involved as well. Sean and the others drew in their breaths fearfully. Henry laughed. Levi, you are really naive. What do you have to fight with the Garrison family? They have become so powerful. Zoe had received the news that there was a long line of vehicles on the roads in Northampton. She was sobbing hard, knowing that there were so many people and vehicles heading in a certain direction. How is Levi going to manage this on his own? You are not allowed to go anywhere. Even if Levi is dead, you cannot go anywhere. Aaron and Caitlin stared fixedly at her. The Garrison family and Jack Smith's army proceeded to the grave in a majestic manner. On the way there, Jack Smith said to Joseph, "Francis Hicks is actually not coming." Joseph laughed. He is a mafia boss who likes to remain hidden, so he probably does not want to participate in such trivial matters. Jack Smith laughed too. That's right. If not for the project, I won't turn up either. Everyone was waiting in front of Morris Grave. Rowan and his wife were a bit worried, and could not help but persuade Levi, "Levi, why don't we just forget about this? The Garrison family is too powerful, and we cannot beat them after all." Levi smiled and reassured them, "Please rest assured. I will be able to manage the Garrison family." Nuve, Trey, and the others also laughed. No matter who they are, They will succumb to us obediently. Very soon, there was a sound of explosion. Everyone saw the impressive line of cars. Luckily, the surrounding area was big and deserted enough to accommodate them. Rowan and his wife were shocked at the vast number of vehicles. There were at least tens of thousands of them. Most of them were MPVs and trucks. The number of people inside these trucks was unimaginable. The cars in front were luxury limousines. One of the car doors opened, and Joseph and the others got down slowly. Everyone from the Garrison family held their heads up arrogantly. They were high-spirited. Their purpose today was not only to get rid of Levi and Nuve, but also to show the Garrison family's powerful connections to the whole of Northampton. They had an air of arrogance around them and completely disregarded Levi. After seeing them alighting from the cars, Nuve, Trey, and the others went pale. Northampton's Jack Smith. Jack Jr. Smiling Buddha. Bob. Jimmy. They uttered out all their names in astonishment. In Northampton, they were the real big shots. As compared to them, Nuve and Trey were mere gangsters. Any one of them was able to get rid of Nuve and Trey. I have got no idea what benefits the Garrison family has offered them, but there are so many of these big shots gathered here. Nuve drew a sharp breath. At the sight of Nuve, Trey, and the others looking at them in shock, all the members of the Garrison family laughed. Things were proceeding according to their expectations. Nuve and the others saw the king of Northampton like a fearful mouse spotting a cat. They could not help it.